looking at that NSE 20 falling back in today's trading session. Could you kindly talk us through the kind of activity we saw coming through on the bourse today?
Basically, of course, we saw a bit of profit taking, but there was still quite a bit of a number of aggressive bidders in the market, especially on counters such as EABL. We saw quite a lot of activity on that, and foreigners are still quite active. I mean, we're seeing a lot of aggressive bidding, so I don't think it should be anything to worry about. We expect the market basically to trade to continue gaining, but if it slows down, it will probably just trade flat for the remaining part of the year. There's a lot of a positive feeling towards the general environment, and we expect possibly if the CBK begins to look more at the growth aspect, of course we'll expect rates to come off, and this should positively affect the equity market. So that's why we're still seeing quite a bit of interest coming into the market.
And what levels are you seeing the NSE reaching by the end of the year?
Possibly, as I said, we expect it to continue gaining, but it will close above the 4,000 mark. Trade flat, and I think the biggest rally we would see is probably towards the beginning of the second quarter of 2013.
And let's get your take on the Uchumi supermarkets. We had the full-year earnings falling back by almost 30%. We have seen that stock being one of the best performers on the bourse this year. What did you make of those results?
Yes, Uchumi has performed quite well. I think they're up about 160% year to date, and the market, quite a number of people in the market didn't expect the numbers to come off by almost 30%. But if you look close at the numbers, it actually makes a lot of sense. And I think they, considering the effects such as inflation, the inflation numbers, the average inflation January, to June, year to date to June 2012 is about 16% compared to June 2011, which was at about 6%. So they've withstood these adverse factors quite well. And of course, in our market, it being an FMCG, we've seen them open five new branches. So of course, this is a one-off capex. So of course we saw expenses rise. So I think the numbers are actually quite good. It's Uchumi is a growth story, and if you're looking at long term, it's actually a pretty good stock to hold.
All right, and let's move on to the fixed income market. We have results for the 182-day Treasury Bills expected out today. What kind of yields could we see coming through from there?
Last week it came up to about 10.3, and the estimated cutoff was at about 11.25%. So we should see it continue to rise this week. Probably close between 10.8 up to about 11%. We've seen interbank continue to rise. Yesterday it closed at about 9.4%. So all these factors are contributing to pushing up these prime rates. We've seen the repo 7-day repo rate is now almost matching this. It's at about 9.9%. So what I think we should see the 182-day begin to stabilize as it touches levels of 11%. The 91-day is results come out tomorrow. The auction is actually tomorrow, and we expect this to also move up above the 9% level.
And can we get your thoughts on the housing finance bonds? We know that the results are out, and there's also talk of more bonds being expected before the end of the year.
Yes, there's actually a bond expected from a local multinational. It's not yet confirmed, but I mean, if you look at the HF numbers, although HF does have strong fundamentals, we saw, I mean, it was oversubscribed, quite a good subscription. There's a lot of appetite for this. It came in at 13%. If you compare that to the equal government treasury at the 7-year government treasury, which is at 11%, this is 200 basis points above that. So this attracted quite a number of people hunting for the yield and also looking to diversify their portfolio. I think with if the local multinational, it's not been disclosed who, does go through, of course, with the risk aspect on this would be a bit lower. So we may see probably them coming into the lower yield to the market.
Well, Ken, we saw the Kenyan shilling ending flat in today's trading session around 85.05 against the dollar. What is your outlook for the Kenyan shilling going forward?
As long as the CBK continues to aggressively mop up shillings from the market, we expect the shilling to continue trading flat. They were also in the repo market today, and as I mentioned, you've seen the repo market is still rising. Interbank last week was at about 8.5, now is all the way up to about 9.4%. That's almost 100 basis points. So as long as liquidity remains tight, we should expect that the shilling will continue to trade flat, and probably as we go towards the end of the year, if we see a lot of foreign inflows, especially as we approach the holiday season, this may serve to support the shilling further.